Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And I'd like to start by acknowledging our key safety partners. My name is Chrissy Nizer. I'm the administrator of the Maryland Department of Transportation Motor Vehicle Administration. I also serve as Governor Hogan's Highway Safety Representative. We're really excited to have with us our Mdot Secretary, Greg Slater, along with MDTA Executive Director, Jim Ports, Mdot SHA Administrator, Tim Smith, Mdot MBA, Maryland Highway Safety Office Director, Dr. Tim Kearns. From the Maryland State Police, Lieutenant Colonel Roland Butler. We also have from the Department of Natural Resources Police, Colonel Adrian Baker, as well as Regina Ali from AAA Mid-Atlantic. I want to thank them all for being here today, but more importantly, really for their partnership as we work together to save lives on Maryland's roads. This really is a critical weekend coming up for travel. I know that everybody is excited as we try to get back to some of our normal routines, getting out and about, spending time with family and friends. And I know for many people that means getting in the car with family and taking that trip for the Memorial Day weekend. As we get back to those things that we love so much, we have a really important message related to highway safety. It's been a difficult year in terms of the tragedies we've experienced because of the COVID pandemic, and we do not want to lose any more lives on our roadways. We saw a lot of unforeseen challenges that nobody could anticipate, but the reality is one thing we saw that really wasn't necessary is an increase in fatalities on our roadways. And that was true despite the fact that there were fewer cars on the road. One of the great challenges we had is speed increased significantly, and you'll hear a little bit more about that today. But we saw speeds in excess of 95 miles an hour and reckless driving behavior during the pandemic, which really led to more lives being lost on our roadways. So each year we encourage Marylanders to slow down, drive sober, and take driving seriously. But this year we just want to re-emphasize that message. Making poor choices behind the wheel is a matter of life and death, not just for you and your passengers, but also for everybody else who's on the roadway with you. We implore you to make the right choices this holiday weekend and all summer long when it comes to drinking and driving. Always make that plan for a sober ride. There's so many options with rideshare services, taxis, public transportation. And whether you're behind the wheel or riding as a passenger, we want to remind everybody that the most important thing you can do is buckle that seatbelt. It only takes a second, and it's critical that you do that every time you get in a vehicle. In 2020, we saw for the first time since 2004 that our seatbelt use rate fell below 90%. That means every time you're on the road, 1 in 10 drivers is actually unbelted. And we know that the reality is when you're unbelted, you're much more likely to be killed or seriously injured in a crash. Another troubling trend we've seen recently is parents failing to properly buckle their children in child safety seats. We know they're our most vulnerable passenger in that vehicle. I beg parents, please take the time to make sure that that child safety seat is attached and properly secured. And we also want to make sure that your child has the right seat based on their age and their height, their weight, and their age. And we all know that keeping that rear-facing child seat is the best thing you can do for as long as possible. We do have some resources that I would point to. Maryland Kids in Safety Seats program. They provide a free virtual tutorial, and you can go to mdkiss.org for more information about that. We all have to remember that each time we get behind the wheel, it's a choice that we make. We want to make sure that everybody arrives at your destination safely, and each and every one of us has control of that happening. Again, I want to thank all of our partners who are with us here today. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Mdot Secretary, Greg Slater, for a few words. Greg?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chrissy. I think I can speak on behalf of all Marylanders when I say that we're excited to get back outside and enjoy summer. You know, as Maryland continues this strong recovery from COVID-19, we know that there are a lot of Marylanders out there looking to get out, to travel around the state, and to get back to normal. From Deep Creek Lake to the Chesapeake Bay to Ocean City, I know that everybody, including myself, is ready to take advantage of these amazing summer getaways and get out and about. But with the energy and the recovery and the positive pandemic recovery that we have across this state, traffic this Memorial Day weekend could be equal to traffic on Memorial Day weekend in the pre-pandemic world. We're seeing that recovery. In 2020, Administrator Nizer touched on it a little bit. 571 people died on Maryland's roadways. Minor changes in your behavior is all it takes to alleviate that number, to make that number. The solution is simple. Drive sober, slow down, buckle up, put your phone and other distractions down, share the road with your neighbors, with the people that are out there around the system with you. But by following these simple guidelines, we can keep more Marylanders safe. On our roadways, despite these lower traffic volumes, since the beginning of COVID-19 in March of 2020, we've noticed some really disappointing trends out on our system. We've seen increased speeding, with over half of the citations earlier this year already being speeds over 20 miles an hour over the limit. We've seen major factors in crashes that we must work to continue to curb and get better. That's why we're here today asking everyone to be careful this holiday weekend and remember that personal responsibility is all we can accept behind the wheel. Today, we're here with the Department of Natural Resources to launch a new part of our Be the Driver campaign. We're looking at our campaign that we launched this fall. It's all about personal responsibility out on the roads. And as we head into summer, we want to stress safety after out enjoying out on the town or out on the water in a boat. We're asking all Marylanders to keep summer alive by following these simple guidelines. Be the sober driver. If you're out there and plan on drinking, make a plan. Use a designated driver, use a friend, a ride share, public transportation. If available, use your community's sober ride program. Be that focus driver by eliminating all distractions as you're traveling. Be that slow down driver. Speed limits are set for your safety. Follow them. Be that buckled up driver. Each year, more than 100 fatalities are due to a failure to drive a seatbelt or to wear a seatbelt. It takes 3 seconds to buckle a seatbelt and it will save your life. Be that share the road driver. Pedestrians and bicyclists on these warm days are out there. They're the most vulnerable road users that we have. Very little protection from a collision, and it just takes a second and someone's life will change. And finally, be that look twice driver. As these warmer weather starts to come around and as the summer months come, you're going to see more and more motorcyclists out on the road. They can sometimes be harder to see. Take that extra second, take that second look. Their life can depend on it. And these reminders, they may sound familiar, we've been using them for years, but we must continue to reinforce them every single day as they're followed to keep everyone safe and get everyone home safe as they're out traveling. As we're out here with the Bay Bridge in our background, not everyone's trip is just about the drive. You know, if you're flying or taking transit, please remember that face coverings are still required on all public transportation hubs, including rail, bus, and vehicle stations, as well as the BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport. While passenger traffic at BWI Marshall Airport remains at about 35% down from our 2019 levels, we've seen significant growth in recent weeks. Last week, we set a new record for departing passenger travel since the start of this pandemic. On Thursday, the 20th, we saw more than 25,000 passengers alone travel through that airport in a single day record. As vaccination rates start to climb, people are more and more eager to get out there and travel. The recovery at BWI Marshall has been more robust than other airports in the region. But in fact, of the major airports in the Northeast U.S., the recovery at BWI Marshall is the strongest in the region. Traffic at BWI Marshall Airport this weekend, much like our roadside traffic, could be around 75% of a normal Memorial Day travel weekend. So until this pandemic ends, please continue to be careful and play your part. Wear your mask and follow the guidance of our health community so that we can all work through the end of this pandemic in a healthy manner. You know, throughout my career in this department at the State Highway Administration and now as Mdot Secretary, I've always been involved in our highway safety efforts. And under Governor Hogan's leadership, I and the other speakers you're going to hear today are all committed to the mission of zero fatalities on Maryland's roadways. We're not going to stop working until we've reached that goal. It's the only acceptable goal. Throughout this weekend and all summer, state and local law enforcement partners will be actively looking to get dangerous drivers off the road. But before we discuss this summer's enforcement events and efforts, I'd like to first introduce Executive Director Jim Ports from the Maryland Transportation Authority to talk about some of the best times to travel across this bridge and some of their new tools for travelers with Drive Easy MD so that we can make traveling not only safer throughout the state, but easier for you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Greg, and good afternoon. As Secretary Slater said, my name is Jim Ports. I'm Executive Director for Maryland's Transportation Authority, and I want to welcome you all today with that nice background of the Bay Bridge. You know, this holiday actually means a lot to me personally as a U.S. Marine, and I just want everybody to remember that as we celebrate this weekend, that we honor those brave men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice. You know, obviously we enjoy the land of the free because of the brave. So I ask you to join me this weekend in remembering them and keeping them in your mind. This week and also marks the beginning of summer travel, and we need your help to keep our roadways safe and secure as we move into summer travel season. We ask that you put safety first, second, third, and fourth in your travel plans. You're going to hear that message throughout everybody's speech today. And it's obviously a great view right here with the Bay Bridge, but as you're crossing the bridges or any of the roadways, please make sure that you pay attention to driving. The view's great, but we need you to look forward and watch where you're going. So ensure your vehicle and cargo are road ready. Just one disabled vehicle or debris on the highway can back up the Bay Bridge for hours. And we ask that you plan ahead and travel off-peak to avoid delays, especially when crossing the Bay Bridge. As you can see from Spike and Otis on the board over there, just as Spike and Otis recommend, the best times to travel the Bay Bridge this holiday period include Friday before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m., Saturday before 8 a.m. and after 5 p.m., Sunday before 10 a.m. and after 10 p.m., and on Memorial Day, Monday, before 8 a.m. and after 11 p.m. You just heard from Secretary Slater that we expect the traffic to be at 2019 levels. We certainly do. Don't worry, you don't have to remember all that I just explained. The drivers can find all those times and all the references to safety on our MDTA website and social media. As a reminder, two-way traffic is prohibited during wind warnings, restriction, fog, or precipitation, and storms forecasted for tomorrow and Saturday, so keep that in mind while you're planning your trip this weekend. Giving our drivers tools to plan their travel is only part of what MDTA does to provide excellent customer service and safe travels. Just last year, Governor Hogan announced permanent all-electronic tolling statewide, which has resulted in reduced emissions and more convenient and safer travel through our facilities. And last month, we launched a new website and Maryland's new home for tolling, driveeasymd.com. Thanks to this new system, customers have choices in paying tolls. We call them good, better, and best options. Good is video tolling. Better is a brand new option called Pay by Plate. And the best option to help you save time and the most money is your Easy Pass. With Pay by Plate, tolls are automatically billed to the driver's registered credit card as they use the Maryland toll facilities with no transponder or prepaid toll deposit. But of course, Easy Pass is the easiest and best options, saving drivers, especially in two-axle personal vehicles, around 50% and up to 77% on the tolls. So who doesn't like acting like they're going through tolls on sale every day? Stick with us. We're shifting to Drive. Our goal is to keep you safe, in the know, and we work hard to do so. But we need you to partner with us. Go early, stay late, so you're traveling off-peak. Take advantage of many ways you can save at your tolls through driveeasymd.com. And most importantly, enjoy your vacation by getting your family there safely. We also want our MDTA police officers and Operation Courtesy Controls, MSP, Maryland State Police troopers, and other first responders to go home at the end of their shifts. So please, please, if you see an officer on the side of the road, please move over. Let's keep them safe while they're keeping us safe. You can follow us at MDTA on Twitter for traffic updates on all of our roadways, and for 24/7 Bay Bridge traffic information, call 1-877-BAY-SPAN or visit baybridge.com. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a safe and happy Memorial Day. Now I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Butler, Chief of Field Operations Bureau of the Maryland State Police, and I'm going to start right now by moving over for him to come to the podium.
Hey, good afternoon. I am Lieutenant Colonel Roland Butler, Roland Butler. I am the Chief of the Maryland State Police Field Operations Bureau. Thank you for being here today. There's no doubt Maryland is one of the best places you can pick to have a nice vacation, especially enjoy your summer. But if you let the sun, fun, and vacation activity diminish your concern for traffic safety, there's a high probability your vacation will not be that fun. The causes of the majority of traffic fatalities and collisions are no secret. Impaired driving, aggressive driving, speeding, not wearing seatbelts, not respecting crosswalk boundaries, all lead to actions that create problems along our roadways. Police officers in Maryland recognize the important mission that we have regarding traffic crashes. Our strict enforcement of traffic laws daily is a vital part of ensuring the safety of motorists that travel along Maryland roadways. Violations of those laws impact the safety of everyone that travels through the state of Maryland. Our summer enforcement efforts are already underway and will remain intense throughout the summer. For example, so far this year, Maryland State Troopers have arrested over 2,700 impaired drivers. This is more than 700 than this time last year. Your Maryland State Troopers are working hard to address fatalities, as are other police departments across the state of Maryland. We need drivers to do their part. It's regrettable that we consistently have to remind people not to drink and drive, not to drive aggressively, obey the speed limits, and to buckle up. This weekend and throughout the summer, thousands of motorcyclists will be on the roads. Some believe they can operate with impunity. Some believe traffic laws do not apply to them at all. Some believe the laws of physics do not apply to them. This spring, we've already seen repeated tragedies occur involving motorists who were speeding and driving recklessly. You might be able to accelerate to 180 miles per hour and avoid a state trooper. But when you fail to negotiate a curve in the roadway, strike a ramp at an excessive speed, or other object, you become a human projectile. And at that point, no one is going to escape the laws of physics. We will have extra troopers patrolling Maryland highways from the mountains to the beaches this holiday weekend and at peak times throughout the summer. Our troopers will be working to assist disabled motorists clear the roadways as quickly as possible to keep traffic flowing as freely as possible. As always, the world-renowned Maryland State Police Aviation Command, pilots and flight paramedics will be available to respond at a moment's notice to provide critical care and trauma care to anyone who's seriously injured. Our helicopter crews will also be monitoring the flow of traffic and notifying troopers of situations along the roadways that need their attention. The Maryland State Police and our state law enforcement agencies are ready for this weekend and the upcoming summer season. We want everyone traveling in Maryland to have a safe summer. Traffic safety has to be a priority for every driver. Until it is, we will remain strict in our enforcement of the laws. We will do our very best to change driving behaviors that put us all at risk. I'm now honored to introduce the Superintendent of the Maryland Natural Resources Police Department, Colonel Adrian Baker.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. My name is Colonel Adrian Baker. I'm the Superintendent of the Maryland Natural Resources Police. That's A-D-R-I-A-N, Baker, B-A-K-E-R. We look forward to a safe and fun holiday weekend And in addition to enforcing all state laws, my officers will be concentrating on conservation enforcement on all state and private land, enforcement in the parks, and most importantly and unique to us, enforcement on the bay, the tributaries, and the waterways. Safe boating enforcement. In fact, this week happens to be Safe Boating Week. We work hard to make sure that our citizens can get out and enjoy the water, but it comes with some risks and some dangers, and we think that you can be prepared and be successful and go home happy. So last year we had 7 fatalities that were related to boat accidents, and all of those cases no one was wearing a life jacket. Life jacket's just like a seat belt. If you don't wear it, it doesn't do any good. So please wear your life jacket. You're required by law to have a life jacket for every person that's on board the boat. So make sure that you have that before you go out. You are required to have other safety equipment, and make sure that you have gone over your list and that you're prepared and have what you need. Every week, our reserve officers just across the road at Sandy Point set up and do voluntary safety equipment inspections. So if you're not familiar with what you need, stop by and see them. There's no appointment necessary, and if you want to check base, you can check our website and it'll tell you when they're going to be there. They are very efficient and courteous, and they'll make sure you're safe, and it's better to be safe than sorry. Our officers are going to be out in full force this weekend, particularly on the water. Our main focus will be to check conservation, to check safety equipment, and to educate the public. This past year, perhaps related to COVID, boat sales have been at a record level. So there's more boats out on the water than there ever have been before. It's not a presumption to think that a lot of those people are inexperienced. So don't presume that the boat that's coming toward you understands what to do. Be mindful of others that are in your area. Use good common sense. A boat, again, is not like a car. You just can't stop and get out and walk away. So be very, very mindful of common sense and keep a good lookout for other boaters. We wish you a very safe, happy, and rewarding holiday. Let's make this holiday one that you remember the good times and not the bad times. Thank you, and I'll give it back to Chrissy.
Thank you, Colonel. And as you've heard, safety is our #1 message, whether you're on the water, whether you're on the roadways. We want everybody to be safe and have that enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. Our message is about be the driver who saved lives, not just this weekend, but every day. You know, it all starts with each of us, each individual. We have that goal of 0 deaths on our roadways. Let's start with this weekend. Let's have 0 deaths during this Memorial Day weekend and make sure that everybody enjoys themselves but arrives home safely to their friends and family. Again, I want to thank all of our speakers and our partners for being here today. Greatly appreciate their efforts. We want to wish everybody a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend.